And just like that, it switches over to live.
Just like that, we are on the internet.
We are on the internet. Isn't that fun? I just love it. I am such a nerd, though. I am a nerd. I'm a nerd about it. So, welcome. We are officially live. If you didn't catch the 2-minute intermission or reprieve or intro, I'm here with Jacob. I've known Jacob for going on 6 years. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
And
when I was a solopreneur.
Yeah. And back when I was trying not to be an entrepreneur.
Not to be an entrepreneur, which we've seen how that turned out.
Yeah, clearly it worked out so well. Yeah, I switched right back real quick.
Yeah.
It was like a 1.5 year reprieve. And then I went, no, I really don't like this. I still in fact don't like this. So yeah, so I'm back. But Jacob owns not Rockford Buzz anymore.
It's not Rockford Buzz anymore. It's now RockBuzz Network.
Yep.
Is the parent company. And depending on what community you're in, you might know us as RockBuzz Janesville or RockBuzz Rockford or RockBuzz Stateline, RockBuzz Aurora, or RockBuzz Peoria, which are the 5 communities that we're currently in. So
that's 5 more than what you started with.
4 more than what I started with.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yep, started in Rockford.
Yep.
Just a little passion project. The short version of the story is Forbes published an article about Rockford, listing it as one of the worst places to live in the country. This is back in 2013.
Okay.
And I was like, this is some real bullshit right here. I get it. Rockford.
I get it, but
also we have a lot of good things going for us. Back in 2013, positive news wasn't a thing. Even our local TV and radio and newspapers, if it bleeds, it leads, was kind of their MO. And so I just grabbed my cell phone and started shooting little videos and posting it to a Facebook page. And it kind of took off. Summer of 2013 that I found out that I was going to be a dad. I had to kind of make a decision. Do I drop the hobby so I can focus on my career in project management and, being a new dad? Or do I go all in on this hobby?
Yeah.
Thing of it. And spoiler alert, went all in. And it was the end of 2014 that I left my career in IT and went full-time in business, and been doing it since.
Ever since, yeah.
And it's changed a lot in the last 11 years.
Yes.
There's been a lot of evolution, and it really took me from 2014 to, I had team members, but I didn't really start to grow and scale the business until 2022.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's a 6, 7, 8 year lead.
Yeah.
It's an 8-year lead between solopreneurship and I'm a boss now.
Yeah. I had one employee that was with me for 5 years that came on the team in 2015, 2016. And kind of a salaried employee because I didn't have to deal with all the
math,
math and hourly rates and all that stuff. So they were paid a salary. So they were kind of in between that part-time, full-time, just kind of depending on.
Okay.
So, but with all the fun with COVID, dropped back down to solopreneur status and then did that for a couple of years until 2022. That's when we launched Stateline and
you grew quite a bit. And I remember last time, I mean, this is burying the lead at least at this point, but I remember last time we were talking, you were saying you had a goal of 50 or something.
100 communities by 2035. Yeah. Is the vision. That's what we're working towards.
Okay.
And so the rebrand and the overhaul of the business model and launching 2 new apps all happened in February and March of this year.
Yeah.
But that was 2 years in the making. So it was really this time in 2024 when I started thinking about and putting ideas to paper around, I'm in 4 communities. Well, I was in 3 and I was looking to launch Aurora that summer. I had just launched Janesville, and just looking at the technical foundation for the website and the business and stuff, and just forecasting that this doesn't scale to 100. And so I kind of started thinking about every decision in the business and putting it through the litmus test. Does it scale to 100? If it doesn't scale to 100, then don't do it. That came down to the software I was using, the hardware, cameras and equipment that we use to do our work, and then the website and the platform.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. It's a really good litmus test. I guess everybody has their own kind of goal in their brain, right? But if you take every decision and weigh it against whatever that goal is, that's huge.
It helps you say no to a lot of things. And I feel it can be very easy to chase the thing that you think is going to help you right now in the moment. But if the thing that helps you today becomes a burden in a year or two, then it's like,
does it work? Does it work for me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it's cool. Right. I mean, we were just talking about this. So people that are tuning in, if you ever have any questions, or like if I skip over something you really, really wanted to know, go forth in the comments. But we were talking right before we hopped on about this masterclass. I mean, this is, I think, the 7th one I've done at this point. And I know Jacob's so lucky. He gets to be in the top 10.
And I
really did. I made a list on a Google Doc and he got to live with it. I had Anna reach out to her, my executive assistant, and I was like, these are the people I want first. These are the people I want second. There's some people in there that are second, but these are the people that I really want on immediately, because either they're business owners that I really, really appreciate having in my network because they're good for bouncing ideas off of, or they've just been really exponentially helpful to my career as a business owner. And so obviously you fall in the business owner that I like to talk to category. That's the person that exponentially helped the career. Like, for example, Carrie before you was like exponential in even the choice to launch the business readiness program. She was one of the phone calls that I was like, girl, how crazy am I if I just do it myself? And she was like,
feeling crazy.
She's like, do it. And I was like, okay. But we were just talking about that. And that kind of weighs against the question of, in 2 years and I have 15 cohorts running a year, is this a good use of my time? And I think the answer would be yes, because for people that maybe can't join a cohort, or they are not close enough to join a cohort, or life, etc., they're not there, or they're like really weirdly in between 2 of the cohorts we have as availability, like, oh, I don't do a food business, or I'm not downtown, I'm not starting out yet. These would be helpful conversations to listen to and hopefully learn something from and take away from and get people to connect with.
It's not what it's
who you know.
And even a layer deeper, it's who knows you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the referrals come not because you know them, but because they know
you. Yeah,
and what you're capable of. And
yeah, I do not disagree, and that's so true. I'm gonna have to clip that. You said. So the title of this talk, and
very inspirational.
It's extremely inspirational. I'm hoping people click on it just because they're like, no, but you spoke at a local event, and I think you gave this talk, you suck in sort of your ideas, something like that.
You suck in your ideas are bad.
Yeah, and your ideas are bad. Yeah. And then I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm going to be doing this masterclass podcast type series, and I think we should do that. And it really centers around the idea of going from the solopreneur to boss mode and having people that now work under you.
Yeah, that's a component of it. I think it even ties to this being a solopreneur even.
Yeah.
Really, the whole grounding of it is that what happens between being a kid and being an adult. When we're a kid, it's like you go to learn how to ride a bike or throw a ball and you suck. Like, you crash all the time, you skin your knees, like you have all of these really painful experiences.
Yep.
But like as a kid, you just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, you're like, oh, well, oops.
Right.
Yeah.
Until you get good at it. That's true for art, youth, video games, anything, right? Like you're a little sack of potatoes when you're a baby. And so as we become older and we become adults, we tend to forget that that's like the process to learning. Like you have to suck at stuff.
You really get better at it. Yeah.
Like you have to embrace the suck. And it's a little bit of getting caught in perfectionism around like, it has to be this perfect thing before I put it out into the world. Or else no one's going to buy it or whatever. And all my ideas have to be good. And that's just not the truth of it. If you don't, like we're on what, like version iPhone 17 or 18 or whatever.
Shit, that makes me feel old. But anyway,
But if you compare the iPhone 18 to the iPhone 1, they're like worlds apart. You have to put out iPhone 1, the iPhone, and you have to put out version 1 of your product or service or app or whatever it is that you're building before you can get to version 18 of it.
Yeah.
And if you let the vision of version 18 prevent you from putting out version 1, you'll never get to version 18.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, so cohort 1, one of like my things that I said over and over, out of the 8 weeks, probably 6 out of the 8 weeks, I said progress over perfection. Progress over, because we can always go back, right? We can always go back and be like, that did not work. But then you have answers of why it didn't work and maybe some parts that did, and then you can just do a little tweak and go back out and conquer. And, I come from a place of like kind of abundance. If it's for me, it's for me. And to me, if I'm working with a new or small business, I know that they're working through some stuff. They're figuring some things out. And I think most people do, right? And so they're more than happy to work with you as you build something versus they want, Walmart perfection of you go to the checkout, you scan it, and you leave.
What's so funny with that though is like we have this idea that these big corporations have like reached this level of perfection, but like how many times do you try to post something to Facebook and it bugs out? Or you go to Walmart or Target and like they're having IT problems or staffing problems or customer service problems or whatever. And so like it never really goes away.
No.
So it's like, why are you letting this get in the way of you putting something out into the world? And one of the things that fun fact is like, this isn't the first time I've launched an app. Like I launched an app in 2018, 2019. I launched a Rockford Buzz app that shares a ton of the DNA of the RockBuzz app. But it had a bunch of features that I thought were going to be the thing that people loved about it and that set it apart and that made it succeed. Nobody wanted it.
Oh,
they didn't want those features. They wanted other things.
Yeah.
But the stuff that I thought was going to be like the new hotness that like was my, unique value proposition or whatever lingo word you want to put to it was the stuff that people were like,
that hurts your feelings too.
I spent so much time writing code and developing these features and testing them. And they were not simple features, right? Just to find out that was the stuff that people didn't really care about.
Yep.
And so when I went to do the development around the new RockBuzz platform and the social app, which is the front end, and the business app, which is kind of like Meta Business Suite, or like Hootsuite or Buffer, if you think about it that way, was this like minimum viable product. Like what's the minimum thing that we can put out into the world that's going to function and get people's attention and allow people to say like, I really like this, but I wish it had that. Now our features that we've rolled out since soft launching to the business community in February are all driven around feedback and not driven around
what I wanted or
people want.
Yeah, that's a huge.
I had a lot of bad ideas.
Yeah,
bad ideas.
Well, and I think things are cool that nobody else thinks are cool. That's the other problem. At least for me, that's one of my biggest problems. Is I'm like, ooh, that's super freaking cool, and then I find out that
everybody else is kind
of. I thought that was cool.
Right. He's like,
it's not a unique problem to me, but there's not enough of me in the world to make it make sense.
Right.
So, okay. So let's kind of go back. So you had Rockford Buzz.
Yes.
And you hired some people.
Yes. I hired somebody to help me with more of kind of like the back end, like content management and helping out with some client stuff a little bit. Back in those days, I wasn't really doing digital marketing services. Like Rockford Buzz was purely like an advertising platform. And so one of my many bad ideas was like, I can be a local advertising platform and monetize at a level that allows me to grow my company.
Yeah.
I could monetize to a level that allowed me to survive as a solopreneur.
Yeah.
I really want to stress the word survive.
Yeah.
It was like, you have a bad month and, you have to have some awkward conversations with your landlord kind of thing. So it allowed me to do that. It allowed me to make a lot of non-fatal mistakes, which
Mhm.
we now call learning experiences
Yeah.
in hindsight, but it definitely wasn't the way to grow the business.
Mhm.
And looking back, what's funny is that I had small businesses reaching out to me being like, I love what you do on your social media. I like your website. I love your email newsletter. Can you help me with these things? And I was like, no, like, I don't really want to
Yeah.
people. Like, I'm cool doing it for myself.
Hindsight 2020.
Yeah, hindsight 2020, right? But like, I'm really trying to focus on, building this advertising platform,
Mhm.
like local social media, right? And it kind of got to the point where I had a couple of those clients that
Mhm.
were paying, essentially 10x of my ad revenue each month for me to
Mhm.
do some services for them. And I was like, why am I doing this to myself?
Mhm.
Like, clearly the ad thing, I've been doing it for a number of years, and it was kind of like 2017, 2018. So at
Mhm.
this point, I'm 3 to 4 years in the business.
Trying.
They all scraping
Yeah.
before I made the decision of like, no, I really just need to lean into. I can't be a single product business anymore.
Yeah.
I have people asking questions, wanting help.
Mhm.
Why am I telling them no? Like, why am I sending them to
Anywhere
do
else.
for a condition of mine rather than being like, yeah, I can help you with it.
Mhm.
And so it was like 2019 that I'm like, yep, gonna like redo the business model, rehash the
Yes.
platform.
Yes.
And I was like all set and like launched the new business model like right at the end of 2019. 2020 is gonna be my year.
Oops.
And
Okay. So then 2020 was not your year. Well, it was not, it wasn't horrible for me. Was it horrible for you?
I was blessed in the sense that my advertising
Mhm.
sponsors got a lot of COVID relief money. They liked me,
Mhm.
saw the vision of what I was trying to do for the community. They liked all the content that I was creating. So most of them, which meant I was able to still pay my bill, but I
Mhm.
wasn't able to pay a salary anymore.
Yeah.
That's furloughed my one team member that I had. I'm like, cancel.
Back to the Solopreneur. But now you have 5 or 6 people working for you.
I have 5 salaried full-time employees, and then I
Yeah.
have 4 that are on a contract basis.
Like they got
Regular hours, but
Yeah.
it's based on client load. And so
Mhm.
when we pick up new clients, they get more work. And
Mhm.
if we lose a client for whatever reason, then they get a little less work.
Yep. Okay.
So the goal is to bring them on full time. But this relationship that we have allows us both to kind of scale
As we needed.
as
Yeah.
the company grows without them having to take a large risk on me
Mm-hmm.
by leaving
All eggs go in one basket.
Right.
And that's stressful for a lot of people.
Stressful for a lot of
And it's stressful for me. I don't know if it's stressful for you.
having like,
Somebody go, okay, all my eggs are in your basket now.
yeah, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it's on me. Like, I have to not just make my paycheck. I got to make theirs and theirs and theirs.
There.
And then also make sure that this person and this person and this person
Get
have
paid.
work
Yeah.
where it makes sense for them to continue to partner with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I will say,
No.
I mean,
Week of heart.
for those that don't know, I own a marketing agency from 2013 till 2020, 2021. And so I had 15 employees
It's a lot.
and I had 3 locations. And I just remember I was so stressed. 2020 was not my year. It was our year for the business. The business like 5x. It was fantastic. Like clients that we had sent proposals to 18 months ago came out of the woodworks like, oh wait, hold on, we needed this.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it would have been great if we already had this in position now because like you have to have it now.
Right.
So it was fantastic. But on the flip side of that though, like very stressful for me. So I ended up selling my business because I stressed myself out, like my hair fell out.
Right.
Like I stressed myself out. That being said, though, that was always one of the most stressful parts, at least to me, was making sure that I had enough like SOPs, instructions, oversight manager, training, all of that to grow that individual. Because my goal always is you don't work for me forever. And I want your next employer, you to get even
Right.
more money in even a better position with your next employer because there's only so much I can do. I'm only little old me, right? Like I'm no global company. So, depending on what their goals are, like a lot of the people that work for me, their goals is to eventually start their own business, which are fantastic. So I want them to have as much knowledge as possible. But that always kind of stressed me out, is like I'm trying to make sure I'm prepared for that, for this role, whatever we're hiring. But also at the same time, I'm financially prepared and I'm picking the right person. That's also stressful. But I guess how do you, I mean, okay, you hired to now, if you were to hire, what's kind of changed? What's updated?
Yeah. So, I mean, Oscar was my first market manager.
Okay.
Launched RockBuzz Stateline.
So main
2022.
full time. Yep.
Yep. He actually started 1099. I met him because he had a nonprofit that he was launching in Rockford.
Ooh,
And done a video for him to promote on my channel. And we connected right away. Like we both have like this mission of positivity, making the world a better place. And so I kind of just like would check in on him.
Yeah, like how you doing? Like what's going on? Yeah.
And so when I was looking to launch Stateline, I hit him up and like, hey, if you know anybody who might be interested in this position, send them my way. I'd be, I appreciate it.
He said,
and he goes, I don't know anybody, but I would be interested. And so that was how Oscar came onto the team.
Okay. Which is a great way to hire, by the way, is already have your pipeline weirdly put together like that.
Weirdly put together.
Yeah, that's a great way. Networking. Okay, continuing.
Yep. My WordPress developer, who's one of my contract team members, a friend in business, was using him for WordPress development way back in 2017 and got me connected to help build the original Rockford Buzz app. And so we always kind of kept in touch as the business continued to grow. We started getting more website clients that reached out to him a couple of years ago to kind of like bring him back into the fold. So that's how that one came about. Everybody else either came through the network, but all my other market managers really came through Indeed.
Okay.
I'm an Indeed guy, and I would put the job listing out there, job description, and throw $100 to $150 at it. And suss through the resumes and do interviews.
Okay. I've been like,
that's how I found them. And the thing that I have learned partially through experience, but also just through my own education, my own educational resources, Simon Sinek, Gary Vaynerchuk, those are the guys that I like to listen to a lot, is that ultimately hiring is a guessing game. Like you guess when you hire, when you fire somebody. There's no mystery in there. And I think like one of the things that having conversations with other entrepreneurs, and especially entrepreneurs that are either hiring for their first time or their second time, third time, is like hearing people talk about how they're trying to find somebody that works as hard as they do or knows as much as they do.
Don't want to be the smartest one in the room anymore.
And they're worried about them. Like, I'm going to hire somebody and they're going to mess it up or make a mistake or whatever. Like, hey, remember how you used to suck really bad when you first started doing this? And now you're years into it and you have years of experience.
You know the short.
Like, you're going to hire people and it doesn't matter what it says on their resume or how much education they have or whatever. To them, you are new and they're going to suck and they're going to have bad ideas just like you did. And you got to give them space.
Yeah,
Space to learn, space to mess it up, space to lose you clients, space to lose you money.
Yeah.
They're going to do all of those things. And if your fear of them doing that is going to keep you from hiring someone, never going to grow past yourself.
Just come to the conclusion that you are a solopreneur. Yes.
You're a solopreneur. And so you either have to come to grips with that you're a solopreneur, or you have to come to grips that if you're going to grow a team, you're going to have human people with human messes that make human mistakes. That's a package deal. Like you're not hiring someone that's just going to come in and
usually
not make a mistake.
Right.
At some point,
they're going to mess up.
At some point, they're going to go through something in their personal life and impact their work. At some point, there's going to be conflict. Like all these things that you're afraid of happening, like they're going to happen. And like, just like you sucked at your job when you started out in the early stages of your business or the early stages of your career, like they're going to have to go through that process too.
No, I don't disagree. So I guess for anyone listening that is like, okay, maybe I do want to hire, and like, I get that they're going to suck. Well, and it is, I will say, I've helped a lot of people hire like their first couple, like even a contractor, right? Oh, I'm going to hire a VA, right? Like, I'm going to hire a VA. I mean, they're still big. Don't get me twisted. Like, they're very, very helpful, but a VA stands for virtual assistant for anyone that doesn't know. But I'm going to hire a VA. And I would say, what are the systems you have in place? So what is like your go-to, like if somebody asks you, like, before I hire, what is the one thing I need to have in place?
You need to have a job description and roles and responsibilities clearly outlined. Like, if you don't have a clear definition of what success looks like in that position, then like, how are you going to be able to set the goalpost for this person?
Right.
Like, people need a destination around like, what does it mean to do this job well?
Yep.
What are you as the boss measuring and looking at and, measuring their success against, right? Like, what numbers
KPIs.
What are your KPIs, and then how are you going to educate them?
Yeah.
Like, when I sit down and interview somebody or bring somebody onto the team, like, I tell them that I look at my role as being 4 E's. I'm there to educate you. I'm there to equip you. Educate means I got to teach you how to do the job.
Yeah.
I got to teach you how to use the software. I got to teach you how to do things. And if I'm not going to teach you, I better have a YouTube video lineup.
Yeah.
I need to equip you, which means like, if you don't have the proper tools in terms of cameras or microphones or lights or software or a computer or whatever to do your job, I can't expect you to do your job. You don't have the right tools. I'm there to empower you. Empowering to me means that they have the confidence to try new things, and that if they mess up, they don't feel like they're going to get yelled at, or that their job is on the line, or that, like, I better just toe the line and just do it exactly the way that they say to do it, because otherwise I'm going to get in trouble and I'm going to have this terrible experience.
No creativity because of that.
Creativity, no thinking outside of the box, no trying new things, no experimentation. And as a business, like, that means that you are automatically the ceiling, because the idea doesn't come from you. Nobody else is brave enough to try it. They feel like if they try it and it does fail,
they're going to be, they're out of a job. They're out of the line.
Or they feel your wrath, in the sense that, like, you blame them for the failure, right? Like, so that's what empowerment means to me. And then the last one is like, I'm here to ensure that the mission and the values of the company are upheld, and that we're doing a
good
quality work for our customers. And that's it. Like, that's what I'm there to do for my people. And if I'm doing those things well, then they are set up for success in that role and position. And so when I talk to my team, and I have, like, for my market managers, which are essentially like my sales force and like front of line customer service, like, we have phone calls every single week. Like, every Friday we have a phone call that's like, let's talk about what's worked, like what worked and what didn't work, like where are we at? But it's not like, not trying to just like tell me, did you check the boxes? Like, I can look at that stuff
and decide what's going on and how it's going on. I can look at the document or the spreadsheet or the metrics
or the social media,
see where they're at. Right.
It's more around like, you're taking this action, you're doing this activity, what's a barrier to you getting the job done? Like, what are things that are getting in your way? What are things that are annoying you? What are ways that you feel like you could be more effective if only ... And what are things that are working really well? Because we want to identify the things that are working well so we can duplicate them across the rest of the team. We want to identify the barriers that are either systemic, so we can fix our processes and procedures, or those barriers that are maybe personal, because it's a weakness that you have, or it's a preference that you have.
Mhm.
And so how do we either adjust the role or educate you, help you get through that?
No, I think that's huge. I think you bring up the personal, right? I think as business owners, we forget because it's so entwined for us, right? Our cell phone is the cell phone, like people can call whatever, like it
Right.
just gets so entwined, especially as a solopreneur. And then when you start bringing people on, you think, oh, well, I thought about it at 11 o'clock at night. So I'm going to put it in there and I expect a response. And you're like, no,
No.
no, there's a certain level of they also have a life to live, and that life to live happens outside of you. You are now their boss. You are not their friend.
Right.
We can be friendly, great. I can know like what you want to eat and how you like it and all that. Like I can know the names of your kids and all that, but we're not friends.
Right.
And I do think there's a line too when you start hiring. Yeah.
I'm going to soapbox here.
Yeah. Soapbox it.
If your mantra is like my employees and my team, like they're not employees, we're a family.
Oh, good God.
Stop. You're not a family.
No.
If you are a family, then you are going to allow toxic excuses to rampage through your company culture, and you're never going to make a hard decision because they're family. And I told my team straight out, like, we are not a family. We're a team.
And
I
got your back. You got mine.
You want to play in the NBA? You have to function and perform at a level to be on that team.
Yep.
And like, that's where we are. Like, we have a mission of spreading positive stories and helping our local communities and helping local businesses succeed. If you're not pushing that train in that direction, then like, you can't be on the team. We all need to be moving in the same direction. We all need to be pulling our own weight. And if you're not, this isn't the place for you. Like, I love you. I want you to succeed, but this isn't
not on my dime and my team.
No. And here's it's not even like my dime. It's like, it's at the expense of like, we're out here trying to make the world a better place. And if you're not helping us make the world a better place, then that spot needs to be available to someone who does want to do that work.
Well, and going back to culture, one of the things, I learned this the hard way. Yeah, I learned the hard way.
That's a very hard lesson.
Bad. Okay.
Yeah.
But that being said, what came out of it was, if you want a team of A players, right? Like you're like, oh, we're the A team, we're the best, right? If you want the team of the best, and then you bring in a B player and you allow them to maintain their B status, all of your A players start becoming, one, resentful, or two, they're like, well, I could get paid the same and be a B player. I'm going to do that.
Right.
Path of least resistance, right? Like, why would I put in 100% when I could put in 80% and still have a job?
Right.
I mean, really, if you start thinking about it, right? And there's always the outlier that's like, no, I just do my job at 100% always, which is great, but it brings their freaks of nature. They're fantastic. If you ever get one of those, you need to keep one.
Yeah.
I need to keep it as much as possible. But it brings the whole team's like morale, the culture of we do 100%. It pisses people off. They're like, we get the same job and they do half of what I do. I mean, everybody has one of those stories where like, oh, we're all on a customer service team and this person constantly is call avoidance. Like, and you're like, yeah. And she ain't do it. Right. And what are we doing here? And they don't get fired. So when you are the boss, that's your job to start to pinpoint some of that, pull it out.
Right.
And what is it? Separate the wheat from the chaff, I think is the saying.
Yeah. And I've definitely experienced it a couple of times where I was too slow to fire.
Yeah.
I was too slow to like let someone go. And honestly, it wasn't even because I gave them opportunity. Yeah. Of course, correct. And like, I did all the things, but ultimately I kept them on for another 3, 4, 5 months, not because they were doing the job well, but because like, I didn't feel like I had the bandwidth to like, manage process. Yeah. To go through the replacement process of letting someone go, take on that work.
Yep.
And then I have to hire somebody and train them. In hindsight, the truth of it is there was the damage that I was seeing and I was allowing to maintain. But then when I finally let them go and we start peeling back the onion, it's like, whoa, there's all this unseen damage that I wasn't aware of because I was asking the questions, but they were lying. If it's not a good fit, you're going to suffer pain. You either suffer now or you suffer later. Just suffer now. The organization is going to be healthier if you suffer now.
Back to the whole, like, you suck, ideas are bad. There's a point when it switches from they're learning or they made like a human mistake. And even sometimes when they do make a human mistake, I'm a big fan of the actual sit down and write up. I am like, what is the plan of how we're not going to do this again? Maybe it's just our SOP skipped from 8 to 15 and we just assumed, but we just assumed that you would know that, right? Maybe that's on us. So like, that's our plan. Like our plan is you're going to write 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 into the SOP. So this never happens again. Maybe that's what it is. Right. But at least for me, like when we get to the part of like separating ways, like you need to go forth and conquer somewhere else in the world. I always say like, and I tell everybody that gets hired, you volunteered to be fired. I am never going to walk into the office one day or into an online meeting with you or whatever and be like, so fun facts, you're done. You will 100% know that we have tried multiple things, multiple avenues. I mean, he'll probably watch this eventually. He might even edit it. Hi, Felipe. But Felipe, I mean, we ran into this. I have an intern, Felipe, and I'm real honest. I was like, is this the internship for you?
Yeah.
If it is, great. We got to do these changes. If it isn't, we will find you something that fits. Like, totally fine. And I think a lot of people shy away from having those, like, just, it's a sentence. It sucks. And like, I mean, I tend to write those out so that people have a chance to like internalize and sit with it versus like if you say it to their face, sometimes they have a bit more of a reaction that you can't, like, you didn't mean to have that in front of me. But it's a hard thing to do. But in the end, I mean, Felipe is a fantastic intern. Like he just needed that quick learning curve of like, nope, that doesn't fly here. And now he's amazing.
Right.
And I think people forget that like, there's a difference between like, yeah, this is just a learning curve to like, oh no, we needed to have just a quick little conversation, which isn't necessarily firing. But if we have too many of those, I know that we've had these conversations already. You know, you're in trouble. You know, we've got a problem.
Yeah. So I worked at Arby's.
Okay.
And when I was, 18, 19 years old, right? College job kind of thing. And here I am at 41, and I still remember this. My store manager, Michelle, early working, she said, Jake, you can make every single mistake in the book once. But if you make it twice,
we're
going to have a problem. And that is very easy to say. It's very hard to force and employ in your team. But it is something that's stuck with me on this idea of like, you made lots of mistakes early on growing up as a solopreneur, and you do have to give room for people to do that. But there's a difference between a mistake and a pattern. And once it's a pattern and it's a pattern that they're not willing to change after you've provided resources on how to fix it, and it ultimately boils down to like, they just don't do the thing. They just don't make it. Then it's like time to find
something else. I always say, in those situations, in anything, I mean, even in training, I'm incredibly patient. I'll explain it to you 15 ways. Ask me literally every dumb question you can ask me.
Right.
I am not tolerant. We talked about it. You have it written down.
Right.
We went over it. There's a video, whatever. Get it done.
Get it done.
Get it done. And I am not tolerant like that. So like, for example, we're going to use Felipe again. I love him. He wants to do like IT, web development, stuff like that. And so I try to consciously put stuff in front of him because he's an intern that like he will have to experience in his career and may not have a boss that's like sarcastic, funny like me and would fire him over some of the stuff. And so I wrote up a 3-page SOP. This is how you do it. And I handed it to him. And he turned around. He was sitting right here. He turned around and he started asking me questions after the first page. He read the first page. They started, and I went, I know what's in there. I wrote it.
Right.
Go read through page 3. Then, and you could tell he was like, I got questions now. And he turned around after page 3, went, oh, I get it. And I went,
Right.
you know, but then on the flip side, I spent the time to write it, and he got like probably halfway through page 2 on directions, and he went, hey, what about this, this, and this? And I was like, great question. That was my fault. I assumed, that the buttons would be clicked or whatever, and we can add that in, right? Because we're now talking about it. You need to type it into the SOP now. But there we go. That's a good question. So it's like that. Like, I'm incredibly patient in the sense that oops, yep, let's do that. Like, let's fix that, whatever. But not tolerant because you're asking me a question I already provided the answer to.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like we were figuring it out together. I think it was like creating an email campaign or something. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. And so you need to get it done. So I think that's a really big switch a lot of people need to have too, because you do forget how, even the first time you create an email campaign, now I can go into pretty much every software and be like, oh yeah, that's all kind of makes sense, right? But if you've never done it before, the step-by-step, you have to take in order to have, and what do I need to have in place, and how do I find out the information? I can see how it would be very daunting. And so being prepped to know that somebody's going to completely sick it, and you're going to have to walk them through something that you find so second nature at this point.
Yep. And I think that really is the crux of it, is just when you start growing a team, you need to have realistic expectations of how it's going to go. You need to be patient. You need to give grace. You also need to hold the line. And it's just there is a lot of gray area in that. And you are going to suck at being a boss. You can have really bad ideas around SLPs and around being a boss. They're going through a learning process, being one of your early, and maybe being early in the career or being very early in your company. And you're also going through a learning process. And I have taken the approach with my team around being very open when
you're like, no,
or it's we're going to try this. And so, I talk often around how we are going to launch early and we're going to iterate often. And I might spend days making a PDF document and just bid it 6 months later because it wasn't working. It was too high of friction. There was too much confusion around it. But you know what? We tried something. We found out another way on how to not make a light bulb. But it's
always hurtful when it happens, though. Time does not heal that. It doesn't make it easier.
It doesn't. And you can spend a crazy amount of time building out a procedure for your team to follow. And if it's bad, you can either suffer the pain of binning it and having to make something new again, or you can suffer the pain of having an ineffective team because your procedure is bad, or the friction is too high where they don't use it.
Yeah.
It's we've all had parts of jobs that we've had where you're
I'm not doing that. Surprise. I learned something new.
And if you have, as a small company, it's if you're not removing that friction, if you're not clearing that path for your team, I don't feel like you're serving your team.
You are that boss that people will leave. Right. You have the opposite. You'll have the opposite. I mean, I've had to fire quite a few people in my life, but you have the opposite problem. They want to leave you because they're like, I need to find something else. And then you get the quiet quitters and things like that, which as a small company, you cannot have people that just I'm going to do 70% of my job and call it good. We can't have that. Maybe if you were in a $2 billion corporation, you can, because they don't even notice. We notice. And we needed that job done. There's a reason we were hiring for it. It needs to get done. So no, I don't disagree. Awesome. Okay. So I don't think we have any questions because I think we've been just chatting about hiring. And in all honesty, I think most of the people that are watching are not quite there yet.
Yeah. I think it's something where again,
planning for it.
And you know what? You are your first employee. What are the parts of your job that you should really have a checklist for?
Yeah.
Or you should be writing down? Or you should have a process.
So one of the things that I did is, I don't know if you've ever used Airtable. Oh my God. Okay. So Airtable is a queen. Okay. But what I did is talking about like when I first started a business, or if I open a new business that I know I'm going to be like the only employee for a second, right? I'll create it. It's an Airtable that literally lays out every task that I have to do. So as I do a task, I add it to the Airtable.
Okay.
And then the second column is who's in charge of it. So when you are to the point where you're like, okay, I have enough money, or, you know, enough bandwidth to hire, or whatever it is, you can go through this list and you can change who's in charge of it in the column, and it creates your job description for you, basically.
That's pretty cool.
It's super fun. I'm like, okay, you still have to write your job description, but like
Dude,
it lays out like these are the
structure.
tasks. And then because you have the tasks laid out, then you can be like, okay, I need them to be doing my bookkeeping, let's say, right? So you're looking for an admin that can do bookkeeping, which means that they understand basic financial numbers of a business, right? So you can put that, you can put that as a skill or a needed qualification, or like, you know, you want something that's QuickBooks certified or whatever. So you can put that out as part of your job description. It's been so helpful. And I've told a lot of the businesses I know that will eventually need to hire in the next like 18 months, start writing down what you do now. Because when you go to hire, like, let's say you want to hire a VA, you're like,
What do I want
I want them to schedule my social media. But what goes into it? Because maybe you are you that, you know, walks around with your cell phone and makes all these videos, and how do you get it to them? Like, how do you want them posting it? Right. What do you like? When do you want them posting? Where do you want them posting? Do you want them to, you know, post?
Using hashtag.
Like all of these things.
Collaborative content on Instagram, like all the little
Yes.
details.
So
The other
huge.
thing I see too is like solopreneurs or very early business owners, like not wanting to invest in relatively cheap but important tools. Like get your QuickBooks online.
Yep.
Please do not
Yep.
have a like jacob.rockbuzz@gmail.com.
Mhm.
Google for business. Honestly, get Microsoft 365 for real.
No,
Yeah.
no, Google for life.
No.
We're gonna disagree. All right. For those that when you watch this or listen to this, I need you in the
Professional
comments.
for 10 years.
Google.
365.
Yeah, no, I am full. I know people love I can't stand it. I don't know if it's just the way my brain works or what. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be like you are so used to Google. It's like when you're an Android user, you switch to iPhone or vice versa.
Yeah.
You don't
I mean, I've worked
to a PC.
Yeah, okay, I've never done Mac to P or PC to Mac because I can't do it. That'll ruin my whole life.
It will. It's just that it's different.
No, I be trying to get on the Mac train, and every time I sit down with one, I'm like, I don't like it. Now, I did switch over to iPhone for about a year and a half, and I did like it,
But then you switch back.
but I switched back. I am a Google girl through and through. This is a Google Pixel. I'll be using Google. I'm a Google girl. So I know how to use Outlook and 365, and I don't like it. But we digress to,
You need a professional email.
yep.
You need actual accounting software.
Mm-hmm.
You need actual like an ability to process payments online and send invoices. Like, don't be writing up your invoices in a Word document,
Oh, no.
exporting them as a PDF and emailing them to people. Spend the $30-40 a month. Like, spend the $10 or $15 a month
Yeah.
for 365 or Google Workspace. Like,
It's
spend
worth it.
$20 a month for QuickBooks Online. You're going to spend less than $100 a month for all of these basic software tools, and it's going to save you hours of time, and it's going to allow you to set up.
And it's going to save you clients because there's people that won't work with you.
Processes. Yeah, there's people that, yeah.
I had that happen once. I had just started, I can't remember when I started. It was one of the business I invested in, and the website wasn't fully finished.
Right.
And she came back and she was like, I don't think I should give you guys money. You're not put together. And I was like, well, we just bought this business. We're rebranding it. I didn't get the client. And that is stuck with me to this day. Like, progress over perfection, yes, but like what you put out, people will see.
People will see. And like it doesn't need to be fully baked.
Yeah.
Right. But it's, what are you making? Are you making like cake batter or cookie?
Yep.
But like
Cake?
cake batter.
No.
So it's like you got to get your business to like cookie dough level,
Mm-hmm.
and before you go and like start putting it out into the world.
Correct.
Feel like you have to have like the world's best cookie recipe to
Yeah.
like that middle ground.
No, I don't disagree with you there. I guess I never heard that either. Cake batter, cook batter. Cake batter, cookie dough. I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I will totally do all of the above.
Yeah.
You don't catch me making a cake and then not licking that bowl.
Right.
It's gonna, but gotta make sure. Gotta make sure I didn't use salt. Okay, I know I didn't, but I gotta make sure. Where can people find you if they want to talk with you or be your friend?
So you can find me. You can email me jdt@rockbuzz.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to rockbuzznetwork.com. It's kind of my website and the RockBuzz app. If you're in Rockford, and you're listening to this, just go to your app store.
If you're not and you're just curious.
I'm just curious because there's a good chance we'll be in your community soon.
100 by 2035. You're getting there.
We're getting there.
You're growing. Yeah, you're growing quickly too.
Yeah, growing quickly. This year is a little bit of like slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I'm still unsure if we're going to launch a market this year or not. If we do, it'll probably be something like pretty regional. So like Boone County, which is a little east of the Rockford region, or like the Lake Geneva, Lake Delavan.
That's where I grew up.
But definitely kind of like in our neighborhood. We went down south last summer to Peoria. It's a 2.5 hour drive for me one way. I'm not really looking to set up another hub market until we get some density and really start getting some momentum. But if we don't launch a market this year, like that's okay too, because we did a full rebrand. We overhauled the business model. We launched our minimum viable product of this app. And so this year is really all about honing in those systems and processes and procedures, honing in product based on user feedback, getting into a part where we can kind of bump out that next level of growth. And
I'm excited. This is so much fun to watch. I mean, I won't lie. It's really fun to watch businesses grow that I don't have to grow myself.
Yeah.
It sounds so bad, but it also is so true. I'm like,
I enjoy watching certain sports, but it's like, I don't really want
to do that.
Yeah. So do it.
I'd like to,
you along the road.
I'm a cheerleader along the road, but I'm glad I didn't have to do that. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. And this will be live across all kinds of platforms, but then it'll be turned into a podcast and everything.
Cool. So looking forward to it.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.